Imagine this, you're driving down a lonely stretch of road in the middle of the night. The air is thick with fog, your headlights barely cutting through the darkness. Then, you see something. A shadowy figure standing on the side of the road. You blink, and suddenly, they are gone. Your heart pounds as you keep driving, but then, you hear a whisper. A voice from the back seat. You turn around. And that's when you realize, you're not alone. Welcome to Australia's most haunted road. Tonight, we're diving into real encounters, spine-chilling legends, and the horrifying truth behind what happens when you drive down these cursed highways. Buckle up. Because once you start driving, there's no turning back. The Phantom Hitchhiker of Wakehurst Parkway. Let's start with a terrifying legend that has haunted Sydney drivers for decades, the ghost of Wakehurst Parkway. This eerie road, located on the northern beaches of Sydney, is surrounded by dense bushland and has a long history of paranormal activity. But the scariest part? The lady in white. Many drivers have reported the same chilling experience. They're driving late at night when they suddenly see a woman standing on the side of the road. She's dressed in white, pale-faced, staring blankly into the distance. Some drivers stop to offer her a ride. But the second they do, she disappears. And for those who ignore her? Well, things get worse. Several drivers claim that if you don't acknowledge her presence, she appears in your back seat. Imagine glancing in your rearview mirror and seeing a ghostly woman sitting right behind you. Some say she simply sits in silence, staring out the window. Others claim she whispers their name, or suddenly screams. The only way to get rid of her? You must say a prayer. There are countless reports of unexplained accidents along Wakehurst Parkway, many involving drivers who mysteriously lost control of their vehicle, swerved off the road, or crashed, all without explanation. Coincidence? Or something more sinister? But Wakehurst Parkway is just the beginning. Because Australia has more haunted roads than you think. The blood-soaked history of Belanglo State Forest Road. If the name Belanglo State Forest sounds familiar, it should. This isolated road is linked to one of the most infamous serial killers in Australian history, Ivan Milat, the backpacker murderer. Throughout the late 80s and early 90s, Milat lured backpackers into his car, drove them deep into the forest, and brutally murdered them. Their bodies were discovered just off the roadside, in shallow graves covered by leaves and branches. Even after Milat was arrested, people who drive through Belanglo at night report eerie encounters. Some say they feel an overwhelming sense of dread, as if they are being watched. Others hear screams echoing through the trees, even when they are completely alone. And then there are those who claim to have seen figures walking along the road, only for them to vanish into thin air. Many believe the spirits of Milat's victims are trapped in the forest, forever wandering the roadside, searching for justice. And the scariest part? Some drivers say their car radio starts playing distorted voices when they pass through. Could it be static interference? Or something trying to communicate? Whatever the truth is, one thing's for sure, you don't want to stop your car on Belanglo State Forest Road. Lemon Tree Passage, the ghost that haunts reckless drivers. This next road is haunted by a ghost with a mission. Lemon Tree Passage Road, located in New South Wales, is infamous for a bizarre phenomenon. Drivers who speed down this road at night claim to see a ghostly light appear behind them. It starts off as a faint glow in the distance, then suddenly, it speeds up. Within seconds, the light is chasing them, getting closer and closer. Some believe this is the spirit of a young motorcyclist who died in a high-speed crash. His ghost now warns reckless drivers by appearing as a mysterious light. The legend became so widespread that people actually started racing down the road to try and trigger the ghostly phenomenon. And guess what? More people crashed, and more people died. So now, the question remains, is this ghost real? Or has the legend itself claimed more lives than the spirit ever could? The haunted highway where time stands still. Let's talk about the Eyre Highway, one of the most remote and eerie roads in Australia. This 1,600-kilometre stretch of road cuts through the vast, empty Nullarbor Plain. No towns. No service stations. Just an endless road through the middle of nowhere. And yet, it's known for something terrifying. Time slips. Disappearing travelers. Encounters with the strange and the unexplainable. Many who drive this road report losing time, as if they suddenly blacked out and woke up hours later, with no memory of what happened. Others claim to have seen mysterious lights floating above the highway, following them for miles. But the most disturbing story? The Nullarbor alien abduction. In 1988, a family traveling along the Eyre Highway experienced something straight out of a horror movie. They claimed a bright light surrounded their car and lifted it off the road. The car's windows shattered, and they felt an intense heat. When they woke up, their vehicle was found in the middle of the road, covered in burn marks. Even skeptics struggle to explain the strange occurrences along this road. Is it just exhaustion playing tricks on the mind? Or is something truly out there in the Australian outback? Either way, one thing is certain: if you drive down the Eyre Highway, be prepared for the unknown. Final thoughts: would you drive down Australia's haunted roads? From ghostly hitchhikers and cursed highways to mysterious lights and time slips, Australia's roads are filled with dark history, chilling legends, and things we may never fully understand. So, would you dare to drive down Australia's most haunted roads? Would you stop to pick up the lady in white? Would you speed down Lemon Tree Passage Road and risk seeing the ghostly light? Or would you take a trip through the Eyre Highway, knowing you might lose time, or worse, vanish altogether? Tell me in the comments below, what's the scariest road you've ever driven on? And if you love creepy mysteries and haunted places, make sure to watch our next video. It's even scarier than this one. Stay safe out there, and keep your eyes on the road.